Hi, I'm Dave Vickers and welcome to the Photo Show. We've got another Photoshop tutorial today, and today we're going to be taking a look at creating a vintage stroke Instagram kind of look to your images. Over the last few years, the filters that Instagram uses that you can apply to your images have become very popular, and a lot of people use them. But what I'm going to do today is show you how you can get the similar effect in Photoshop and apply that to your images as you go. It's only a couple of steps, so it's very simple, and we'll start straight off with this image that we've got of the bride here. It's a bride at the altar. It's a nice candid image, and you can see it's nice and punchy, and what a modern looking photograph should be. So the first thing we're going to do with this image is, same with all images that I work on, is I'm going to create a copy layer. So we're going to hold Control and J, and there you can see we've got a copy layer above. So we're working on the copy layer, and we've got our background there as a reference point, and if we make any mistakes we can always go back to the background layer as well. So first thing, let's come back to our adjustments palette here. If this isn't showing, down at the bottom here you've got the little half moon icon there, and we're going to pick a levels adjustment. So now we've got a levels adjustment up, and just like if you use levels on your images normally, except now it's created it as a separate layer, so we can work on this levels layer and make adjustments to it separately from what we're doing to the main image. It's not affecting the main image. Next thing we'll do here is on the levels dialog box where it says RGB, we're going to click that, and we're going to come down to blue. So now what we're doing is we're just affecting the blue channel of the image. It's RGB, red, blue, green, so we're just working on the blue part of that image. And we're going to come to the bottom here and take our black slider and start to bring it in towards the center. And you can see now what that's doing is that's adding a lot more blue into the shadow area of the image. If you go back to the beginning there, you can see there's quite a lot of yellow, and if you watch the shadow images as we bring that in, it's adding blue into the shadow images. And you can see there already, let's click that out. Just that one simple step has made quite a difference to the image already. It's already starting to soften up the colours and give it a different look. Next thing we're going to do is come to your adjustment layers again here, and we're going to pick solid colour. And you get your solid colour picker dialog box up here, and we want something around the yellow orange colours, slightly more orange. We're going to come up here and we're looking for a light tan colour, light tan, dark cream, whatever you want to call it. Something around there should do, and we'll click OK. Now obviously we've completely obscured our image now by using the solid color, so we're going to change the blending mode, and the blending mode is this part above here in your layers dialog box. The moment it says normal, so do the drop down there, and we're going to choose multiply. Click multiply, and now you can see it's added that effect over the entire image. There's where we were at the levels, and that's starting to put a bit more of a creamy look to the image. If this is too strong, you can adjust the opacity now, just to bring that back. Obviously at 0, you've got absolutely nothing. You start feeding it in there. I think somewhere around there, somewhere around 80%. So you can see now from where we started with the original image to where we are now, we're making quite a difference. And the third part we're going to do on this one image is to add a curves adjustment. So once again, in your adjustment layers, pick curves, and what I'm going to do here is I'm going to grab the corner here and raise our shadows up, and as you can see what that's doing is it's softening the image. It's taking some of the vibrancy out of the shadows, and it's giving it a softer look, which is almost what happens when photos age over time. Stuff that was shot in film in the late 60s and 70s and colour film has this kind of softer look. It didn't have the punchy, contrasty look. There were a couple of films that did do that, but if you were shooting colour print, that was pretty much the kind of effect you're going to get. And you can adjust the layers here just to get it how you want it. Now I'm going to leave that there. I mean, that's a basic overrun. If we go back to what the original one looked like, there's our original image. There's what we've managed to do in just 3 simple adjustment layers. And I think you'll agree that's made quite a difference, and it's giving that Instagram stroke vintage kind of look. Okay, that's one method there. Let's click this image out, and we'll try one other here. So let's open up there, and I've got an image here that was taken at the D-Day 70th anniversary in Normandy, France. And this was taken at one of the camps where the sort of the recreation groups set up. So we've already got quite an old looking feel to this image already. We've got the uniforms and the old motorbike as well, but the color treatment on it is very, very modern. It's a very modern digital look to this image. So let's see what we can do to make this look slightly more like it was a color photo relative to the period. So first thing to do, let's once again Control J, so we copy the layer there, and this time I'm going to use a hue and saturation. So we come up to our options there, hue and saturation, and simply by just bringing the saturation down and taking some of the color information out, let's bring it to about 40% there. And you can see already from our original image there, we've come back to something that's a lot more period appropriate, really. We can add a curves layer in over this again and do some fine adjustments on that as well. Once again, let's bring some of the shadow detail out and drop it back in a little bit more there. And there we go. Really simply, we've turned what was quite a modern looking image on the color treatment into a much more vintage, much more age appropriate kind of look to the image. While we've got the hue and saturation layer there, let's just do one more thing. We also have an option here which is colorize. So if we click colorize, you can see now that it's just choosing one tone from the color, the hue slider here, to color the image. We can now adjust that and start moving it along, and as you can see, we're going through a bluer range there. And as we get to that end, I think we're better off down the other end actually. Let's go back down the other end. Around here, you're beginning to get a sepia tone kind of effect, which again, it was a process that was applied to black and white images chemically back in the day. You'd actually bleach the black and white image out, use the sepia tone bath to bring the image back in that browned colour. And we'll adjust our curves again there one more time. And there again, so now we've gone from our original modern digital colorization of this image to a sepia toned image, which would be much more appropriate to the 1930s, 1940s, from the area that this photo is representing. So that was it. Very basic, very quick. How to get two vintage style looks to your images. One using a couple of adjustment layers and a solid color layer, and one just using really the hue and saturation settings on your on Photoshop and a curves layer. Hope this has been useful. I'm Dave Vickers. Till next time, see you then.